those apartments. And I mean, it's such a difficult crash to go towards school because of the amount of open ground that surrounds it. At least with apartments, you've got those hills to the south that give you a little bit of cover as you approach. But around school, it is just flat. It's so hard to make that approach. And as soon as you cross that ground, you are the fish in the proverbial barrel. The circle does center up on towards it, though, Black. So maybe we're about to see that.
Yeah, Influencer's Rage, they can get around to the backside of the building, go towards the walls there. You can crash into those fairly easily and then just push through the shacks and the vehicles that are burnt out in that area. And then once you're in school, you're fairly safe, right? I do think that Influence Rage might have just played a blinder on this match, picking up this position. They can play the high ground, they can play pool as well, have some fantastic sightlines looking out over towards apartments. And it's looking more and more likely the circle's going to start to push out apartments unless we get a heavy southeast shift. So teams are getting a little bit worried. For Team Spirit, though, the rotations are difficult. I think the ideal thing for them to do right now is to, yeah, exactly, set up on the south side and then try and take shots at Thunder Talks as they move in. Expose a little bit more space on this northeast.
It is going to be a rough approach for the teams on the outside here. They will be left out in the cold here in London. And it is plentiful. Ready to consume as D plus Gear trying to hop in, hop out, giving them the run around, but steps it back into the nade. And Incilio keep 4 players alive in these apartments. They made the roll-up work. They're up to 5 elims now. This shack ahead of Team Spirit is going to be an important rotational position for them, and they are slowly clearing it out. That's Thunder Talk, who just get completely obliterated on the approach. As Team Spirit taking shots out towards school as well.
Yeah, classic PL gameplay, it would seem, here in PMGC, which is, if all else fails, just send it. And it's not working. It really isn't. I think you need first-class mail to get towards that location, the speed at which they had, and they weren't quite on there. So RCB will certainly give them a stamp, but it's a stamp out of this lobby.
4MV on the south side. They've pushed 1 player in towards the apartments, but the rest of them have maintained position on the south edge. Not being super aggressive into this one, I think has played very well for them so far. The question is the next circle. It's the coming phases when they will likely have to leave from that high ground. Everybody in the apartments will take the shots out their way. Na'Vi, they're trying to leave with, well, I say Na'Vi, Lemon is trying to leave from Rozhok as DRX have managed to move up the west side, been very quiet so far after their engagement with the Vicious earlier on, Blank, and they are just slowly moving around, slowly gaining some power, some high ground position over the rest of this circle as well.
An MG3 in the crates. I mean, people would love to have that, but leaving outside of apartments is going to be fairly impossible, I would say, at this rate. 4MV very much on the outside edge down towards that south side, watching for these teams coming out from apartments. They have a lot more maneuverability. Obviously, that comes with the added caveat of having basically no cover. Team Spirit, though, moving over towards Lemon and DRX now. Lemon being this outside player could cause big problems. Team Spirit now down to just 2.
2 players standing, but they are into this next circle, Blank, so they can hold out here for just a little bit longer. They tried to get across the road, losing that player on that transition. Far from ideal. Lemon going to be holding it down inside. I don't think he's in this zone. Will maybe have to move. Yeah, is consumed by it and will go down. The Molotov actually from Kitsune picking up that point. They'll know that that's a squad wipe, so they'll know it was a solo in there, and they know there's a team up on the top of the hill. So likely they can divine that it is just the top of the hill that they need to be worried about, given that Lemon has been able to sneak through Rozhok on his own.
Yeah, but DRX being as a 4-man is somewhat worrying.
Ooh.
Teams need to move out. They are making a run for it, bolting over towards, I imagine, either the western side of school or down towards the south here. RCB looking to move out from this position. They know it's outside the circle. Team Spirit equally have to move. And Influence Rage is on track for a back-to-back. 4MV find DRX as they make that rotate. They got in towards the south side of school, opting not to go down towards 4MV as they give them a very bad time.
RCB losing 1 on the rollout. That's Falcons able to get 1 and the flush as well. RCB going to move out towards DRX's corner of school now as well. So we've got 3 teams finally starting to learn their lesson maybe. In just a moment, RCB diminished in power. Only Wild remains. And Influence Rage looking to shut that one down. Crossing the nades over. But it's DRX to hold the pool. See if they can send anyone else down. Silas, nade over his way. Leaves Wild alone.
I actually think that spot's really good for DRX, honestly. It's hard to aggress, and you can play fairly well from that position. Oh, Team Spirit make a very dangerous approach here, and they have to go wide either side. Nade goes through over the top side. That might do enough damage over towards Nomi. Does hit him fairly hard, but won't quite take him out. Leaves him very low, though. And depends how many first aid kits they really have remaining. But Team Spirit can play this position. It's just extremely dangerous. Influence Rage, if they want to get rid of them, they will have to expend smokes.
And that's the thing, right, for Team Spirit. They can just chill here for a long, long time. Wild lighting them up. Okay. Hang on a minute. Kaise's gone down. Wild hops out. Is Team Spirit going to spot this? Have they seen this hop out? I wonder. Because they've got a player on the corner. They've got the potential to just launch one forwards and see if they can find that knock onto Wild, because that would be a full squad wipe, add a placement point into the mix for them. But Kitsune, no, he's not going to be too bold with it, not going to expose anything to Influence Rage. He knows that they have that high ground, so it can be dangerous. DRX, though, they're not similarly pressured right now. The teams over in Apartments haven't made that break, so they can just afford to step out on these angles.
That they can. RCB over towards the south side, still one player alive here. Wild not quite taken out yet, though. We'll continue forward. I think he's a lot further over towards that north side, though. Like I say, Team Spirit could potentially take shots down that way, but there were smokes sent backwards to prevent that angle from being spotted. I don't know how Nomi has got here. That is very surprising. Capitalizing off the back of a knock that comes through from DRX. He is in the building.
This is a crazy transition. Gets across. He's on the
way.
upper floor now as well. This guy making it work, but finally he's shut down. I mean, I felt like it might be a little bit of the Nomi special brewing there, but unfortunately it does get shut down. In the meantime, though, Kitsune has made it up to the sidelines of the schoolyard as well, which means that with this next circle shift, he's going to be fairly safe. I think Influence Rage should be able to spot this one, though. He's now very, very exposed. Not too sure what was going on there, Kitsune. Try and find something different there. But 8th place, 2 elims, not great for Team Spirit.
No, it's not. Kitsune went full into, I'm just an earthworm. Please, leave me alone. Didn't quite work out. Influence Rage saw through his devilish disguise. Yeah, DRX do fairly well, though I think lose a bit more than they would have liked there. As for players, they could certainly play this one out. And versus Influence Rage, technically they have advantage in terms of center. Most teams in Apartments kicking themselves for this one. But Incilio, despite everything, what a wonderful turn of events for them. I think they've done incredibly well inside of Apartments to stay alive as long as they have, as for, and get 5 eliminations off the back of it. Again, they're an improv team. They do very well with it. They're at improv practice every Thursday.
Ooh, Fash goes down, though. Can't yes and your way out of a nade, unfortunately. Nade to bounce in, maybe finding a second, but Voin Donkey dispatched in the meantime. Falcons on the inside looking to hold them out. Incilio with a knock sent their way. 4MV still one step too far, it seems. 3TN with shots over towards Falcons as well. They're handling 2 players from Alpha 7 on the upstairs. The drop down. Apex wants the fight, gets the flush. Can Incilio find anything more? Apex is now pushed out to the outside. Can't really step back in. Doesn't want to either, with the blue zone pushing them away. Needs to try and stand up in this. Engagement, Incilio have still got 3 players to play around with, and Apex steps back into the blue to try and give them the slip. The off angle from Influence Rage from School, though, makes this exit all but impossible.
I have no idea how Apex makes that work, and certainly he should go down for it, but what a wonderful way to hold them out. And that helps the rest of the team, who's down towards that south side, prevents as many teams getting through towards this location, which is technically still fairly safe. 4-4, I say that, as an nade flies over the top side, we'll take down 1. He knows exactly where Doc is. That nade should be on target. Attempts to crawl away, but it will not be finding it. Despite that, 4MV do a good job to get towards the position. Now it's Influence Rage and DRX to take control of the rest of the game.
DRX have been slow on their approach to this match so far, Blank. They found that south side of Rozhok Hill. They were waiting for their time to strike, and they chose it perfectly. Now in the driver's seat of this game, we'll see if they can take it over the finish line. Influence Rage still stand as 4, but Lorazin knocked makes this harder.
An incredibly early cleanup in this match. We lost so many players, and it all comes down to this now. The big fight between DRX as well as Influence Rage. It is a tough one for DRX with only 3 players still left alive here. the 4 from Influence Rage, looking for the second chicken dinner in a row here.
Hyunbin out on an off angle there. Needs to have an impact. Could be dangerous, but the center of the circle blank lies outside the walls of school, which gives Hyunbin's position so much strength. The 2 players for DRX on the inside are going to look to trade to try and slow down Influence Rage here. Hyunbin, though, is such an important position for them. On the outside, he will be the player to win this for them if they can make it work.
Important game for DRX in terms of point scoring. They have been a little bit slow to the party here. This one they're looking to get done in style. Influence Rage to make their push out. Heading over towards Pool, and they're looking for a splash.
Little boy waiting, looking for an exposed angle, but there's nothing given by DRX. They've hunkered down. They know where they're playing. They know what their strategy is here. It's find value with Soas, with QXZ as well, and have Hyunbin pick up the pieces. If you can take 2 players down for Influence Rage, that forces them to go to the outside when the zone closes in. And the wall side needs to be controlled.
The blue pushes now. Influence Rage need to get a move on. Head out towards the front side of school. Are they teaching the lesson or are they learning the lesson? Provided by DRX on the outside. Hyunbin has got a massive amount of weight on this guy's shoulders. Needs to hit these shots and he has to stay alive. This position is fairly exposed and will push him out. He needs to find value from it. And I love the fact that Influence Rage is trying to slow this down as much as possible so Hyunbin does not find that early pick.
High ground from Lorazin, keeping that one suppressed. Waiting for that one to step up. QXZ just dragging his feet on this fight as well, hopping out of the window, playing up to the wall. Influence Rage do not have the high ground angle with Lorazin because he's not stepping up. Immediately Hyunbin would sit him back down if he tried it, or at least give him a challenge for it. And Influence Rage biding their time. They really want this back-to-back. Diego on the staircase pushes on down to the fight, and DRX just slowly protracting this one away from them.
Smoke's been thrown now into the mist for Influence Rage. Nade goes through, QXZ lucky not to take too much damage from that one. Smokes out, denies the cross angle here. Hyunbin does not know. Limited nades, good damage though to start things off. In goes QXZ, finds the first onto Little Boy. Influence Rage now in trouble.
Lord God did get tagged with the nade around the side as well, which gives info on where they're holding. Nade sent back out, but there's no knocks to be seen. The DBS connects and will find the spray down with Lorazin, but they're getting lit up down the line, and it is QXZ to go big against Influence Rage here. Law now the last to fight. Low HP on the sidelines. Hyunbin still on the outer with the crate to play around. A little bit of improv cover to find those chicken dinner? Maybe. Law with the blue zone now pushing. QXZ on the outside. There is no way they can hop out. DBS to secure these eliminations, and Influence Rage fall. DRX for South Korea make it work.
Awesome game from DRX. A chicken dinner goes over to them and one denied to Influence Rage. Lovely stuff coming through from this team and a great hold.